The response from them is that clearly they feel that they have not had the same support of ECOWAS that they envisaged, and a lack of understanding, that in some cases they of course are going to go ahead with their alliance. But at the same time, they express their priorities. Their first was security and their fight against terrorism. Their second was investments that they were looking for in certain areas like food security and job creation for young people.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has intensified its diplomatic efforts to persuade the Sahel Alliance states, AES, to rejoin the regional community. However, this move has been met with criticism due to ECOWAS's perceived lack of substantial support to the Sahel states in their struggle against terrorism, which poses a significant threat to the entire region. ECOWAS has deployed a series of high-level diplomatic missions to engage with the leadership of the Sahel Alliance states, including Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. These missions aim to address the underlying causes of the states' withdrawal from the regional community and to present a compelling case for their reintegration. However, critics argue that these diplomatic overtures do little to address the immediate and pressing security concerns faced by these countries. One of the most significant of these diplomatic efforts was a recent visit by a UN delegation led by the Deputy Secretary General to Burkina Faso. President Ibrahim Traoré received the delegation. This visit underscores the collaborative efforts between ECOWAS and international partners to stabilize the region, yet questions remain about the effectiveness and timeliness of ECOWAS's support. During their meeting with President Traoré, the UN delegation addressed various critical issues, including the security situation, governance, and the climate and humanitarian crises in Burkina Faso and the broader Sahel region. The discussions extended beyond immediate crises, focusing also on long-term development challenges such as education, access to energy, and agriculture. However, there is a growing sentiment that ECOWAS's strategies have fallen short in providing the necessary resources and military support to effectively combat terrorism. The UN mission included meetings with international partners, the entire United Nations team in Burkina Faso, and a collective group of women from civil society organizations. Following the visits to Burkina Faso and Mali, the UN delegate reported to the ECOWAS leader, the President of Nigeria, in Abuja. This report confirmed that the move was an ECOWAS strategy to leverage the UN's influence to pressure the Sahel states into compliance.
In these countries is that a number of them have a crisis, they have unconstitutional changes, and what they must do is to come back to a transition and a process to democracy. On the other hand, they have to look also at the development paradigm for their people. There is terrorism, but there's also a need to look at jobs, food security, energy. All those also have to continue. Now, if they can display a roadmap that gives everyone some confidence that there is a return to democratic rule, then they will find the support. I believe that in ECOWAS we are a family. Regional integration is at the heart of it. It is what these countries have said.
While this tactic underscores the collaborative approach between ECOWAS and the UN, it also raises questions about the regional body's direct involvement and effectiveness in addressing the critical security threats in the Sahel. ECOWAS's strategy to pressure the Sahel Alliance states to return to the regional community involves a combination of diplomatic engagement, development assistance, and security cooperation.
The response from them is that clearly they feel that they have not had the same support of ECOWAS that they envisaged, and a lack of understanding, that in some cases they of course are going to go ahead with their alliance, but at the same time they express their priorities. Their first was security and their fight against terrorism. Their second was investments that they were looking for in certain areas like food security and job creation for young people.
The recent engagements with the leadership of the Sahel Alliance states, including the high-profile visit to Burkina Faso, have not quelled criticisms about the organization's effectiveness. There is a growing call for ECOWAS to provide more robust support to the Sahel states, particularly in their fight against terrorism, which threatens not just these individual states but the entire region. ECOWAS remains committed to its vision of a peaceful, stable, and prosperous West Africa, but the reintegration of the Sahel Alliance states will require more than just diplomatic engagement. It will necessitate a concerted effort to bolster security measures and provide tangible support to the countries on the front line of the fight against terrorism. Without addressing these critical gaps, ECOWAS risks undermining its own goals and the stability of the entire region. The UN delegation engaged in a series of high-level discussions with Burkinabe ministers, including those from defense, justice, education, and humanitarian action. The discussions, which spanned over 3 hours, provided a crucial platform for the Burkinabe government to correct misconceptions and highlight the progress being made in the face of ongoing terrorist crises. The Foreign Affairs Minister emphasized the importance of this visit, stating, "We really welcome this framework, which has allowed us to correct the usual narratives that are linked to New York and some tribunes." It was an opportunity for the delegation to note with us the progress that is being made, which unfortunately is often diluted or undermined by other speeches that tend to undermine the efforts of the government. The meetings focused extensively on the terrorist crisis that continues to impact Burkina Faso, with significant effects on the population, agricultural resources, and education. We really welcome this framework, which allowed us to correct the usual narratives that are linked to New York. In some tribunes, it was an opportunity for the delegation to note with us the progress that is being made and which, unfortunately, is diluted or often annulled by other speeches that tend to undermine the efforts of the government. So I think it was necessary for us to discuss with this team, to ask the real questions, provide the necessary nuances and corrections, to allow them to understand the situation in Burkina Faso.
Apporter les nuances, les correctifs nécessaires pour leur permettre donc de comprendre la situation du Burkina Faso, la situation du Sahel.
And so the visit today to Burkina Faso was to meet with government.
The UN delegation acknowledged the substantial efforts being made by Burkinabe authorities to address these multifaceted crises and expressed a commitment to better assist the affected populations. We realize that a huge amount of effort is being put in place by the authorities. On the basis of these efforts, we will now try to understand how we can better assist these populations and find solutions that can benefit them, noted the Deputy Secretary General. In addition to addressing immediate humanitarian and security concerns, the UN delegation also used their visit to press for the reintegration of Sahel states into the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. This effort is seen as another step in the broader diplomatic strategy initiated by Burkina Faso to restore stability and foster regional cooperation. The United Nations official highlighted Burkina Faso's integral role in the international community, reaffirming the country's importance in the concert of nations. This visit, characterized by candid discussions and collaborative problem-solving, marks a pivotal moment in Burkina Faso's ongoing efforts to navigate its complex challenges with the support of the international community. If you like the videos that I produce on this channel, take a little time to like this video and subscribe to the channel.